Mass Effect is what it's called. It's made for Microsoft's Xbox system, and it features in some parts of this, you'll see full digital nudity. Imagine. And the ability for the players to engage in graphic sex, and the person who's playing the game gets to decide exactly what's going to happen between the two people.
I'm sorry, I'm having way too much fun with like these random intros. I want to try and keep people on this. It's like, oh no, what is Nick gonna do this week? But hello everyone, how are you doing? Welcome to Extra Credits, the one weekly talk show about video games and nothing but. And in this instance, we are talking about the butt. But I am joined today by my never ever living co-host, the man with perfect eyesight. We have Castor the Gravedigger.
Hello, my lovely duckies. Castor the Gravedigger here.
So tell me, Castor, what do those Gravedigger eyes see? I'm sorry, I'm being an asshole right now.
Yeah, for all those out there, I had to buy my first pair of readers, so I'm getting old, duckies. Getting old.
Yeah, and I'm kind of giving him some crap for it. I really shouldn't, but yep. So we don't really have any headlines this week, so let's just raw dog it straight into the main topic. So this is a pretty broad one. We're gonna be talking about video game censorship, the history, the people, and is it a good thing, or did Nick just do some clickbait?
Yeah.
But seriously, so Castor, as a person who is somehow older than me,
somehow, yes,
somehow older than me, tell me when you were a young little skeleton, back in the ye old neon era of the 80s, what was the censorship like for you? Like, what was kind of like the push? What were the controversies?
I mean, there really wasn't. That's the thing. It's like there really wasn't that much censorship when it comes to like, when it comes to like everything else. There was like tons of censorship, but gaming was kind of like this new thing, and it was seemed as for the most part childish. So a lot of people didn't really, it didn't seem too much. But it wasn't, like I said, it wasn't until like much later that parents started saying, "Hey, well, what's going on here?" Most notably, like with like stuff like Mortal Kombat, because they started pushing the envelope of what they could and couldn't do.
Well, I think all the other thing was realism. Mortal Kombat was the first time games looked semi-realistic. Like, obviously, we look at Mortal Kombat now and it looks like chintzy, but like it looked like they were using digitized people, and it looked like, oh my god, that's a real person just got impaled with a spear. Obviously, like, oh my god, this person just ripped off his head, kind of thing. Like, I know there was like censorship during the Nintendo era, but that was like Nintendo themselves censoring games. That was like the company putting out the games.
Yeah.
I agree with you. Like, the societal, like, governmental pressure didn't really happen until like the early 90s. And there's like the Holy Trinity. Okay, go ahead, Guesser.
I was gonna say, yeah, and realism is probably the biggest thing about it too, because with the NES era, 8-bit graphics, they couldn't get that graphic. I mean, hell, if you look at like the Friday the 13th game on the NES, it's very quite tame.
Yeah, like even like the gory games of that era, like, yeah, they had blood, but it was very still cartoonish, and it was very much a limited. But once you got the Super Nintendo and the Genesis, especially when you got to like the CD formats, or like I'd say about 93, 94. All right, we got our first commenter. Angela says, to be fair, Mortal Kombat still had some out there fatalities you'd rarely see even in movies. Yeah.
Definitely.
I mean, it's totally realistic for a guy to turn into a dragon and eat somebody. So,
yeah, but I mean, it was still done in a realistic manner. That's the thing.
see, I'm gonna kind of spoil the stream. Like, I think censorship should be a personal decision. Like, oh, I think that's too graphic, or I'm a parent and I think this is too graphic for my child. This child will not be buying this game.
Yeah.
Because, like, once we get to the GTA section, I'm gonna be letting off some stuff there. But
Yeah. I mean, honestly, to me, my thing is like, yeah, it's a personal choice. Now, some game developers may self censor because of like they want to get a certain rating, So like for instance, like um, having like boobs covered up and stuff like that, like uh, you know conveniently placed like leaves and stuff, you know,
like, I actually
you
don't
know,
really mind.
yeah,
Don't really mind like a rating that
yeah,
much, because that allows people to like self censor to a degree.
hmm
Like, letting people know what they're in for is never a bad thing. Like saying
yeah,
this game contains boobs. I mean,
hmm
how many times in the '90s was the content sticker? You know, like that one little sign. The mature audience sticker on CDs. That was an advertisement, like ooh, kind of thing.
yeah, yeah, and to me, honestly, I think video games get it a lot harder than movies do, and movies, um, movie can have absolutely realistic graphic violence in it, and
I think it's because video games because the new medium always gets crap. Now, Caster, I
well,
know you're old, but you're not old enough to like back in the '50s. There
yeah,
was this huge censorship push for comics.
yeah,
Because like back in the '50s, you had stuff like EC Comics. Um, they
that
were doing
too,
like
yeah,
honestly, some of EC comics like content is graphic even by today's standards.
yeah,
Um,
it was no holds bar on some of that stuff, yeah, but they went too far. I think they went too far in one direction though, because a lot of now this is the thing though, a lot of what was said about comic books though was absolute lies, and that was used to push the Comics Code Authority, and where they had to basically have this draconian system of
yeah,
laws you had to do.
Seduction of the Innocent. Frederick
Yeah,
Worthian was
yeah,
yeah, like check this out. This is a cover from Crime Suspense Stories. Like, look at that. That goes pretty hard even by today's standards.
you know, but like, but yeah, it was basically like it was basically a giant smear campaign against comics. And yes, there could have been, if there was a rating system, I would have been, completely behind that. That's the thing. But it's to let, again, a system to let the customer know what is inside the product, not them saying, hey, you got to cut this out.
Yeah, that's why like by the mid 2000s they pretty much ditched the Comics Code Authority, and each comic publisher had adopted an age rating system. I mean, hell, even my comics I self censor. Like
Yeah.
Short
And
Samurai is
yeah,
designed to be a mature comic, so I literally put for mature audiences only on my comic.
yeah.
As like all right, I'm sorry, this is an opportunity to share my comics. So
Go ahead.
keep going, Caster. Keep talking.
I was gonna say, yeah. Well, see, that's the thing is like you self censor certain things because, like for instance, I guess I'll do some shilling for you. Like Screecher. Screecher's not supposed to be a very mature comic book, graphically wise. That's why it won't have blood and guts in it. That way
No.
younger readers can get into it. Whereas the other comics, yeah, they'll have more stuff on there, but you have a thing on there letting people know what's on there. So, like for instance, like there's a lot of different games out there that are made for younger audiences, so they're going to have to dial back some of the stuff because that's the rating they're trying to get. Say with movies, sometimes
Mm-hmm.
movies have done this too, where like sometimes they've gone a little too far and they take it to the ratings board, and the rating board says, "Hey, you got to dial it back a bit to get this
Yeah,
rating."
I remember American Pie had that issue. Oh, sorry, that's not what I was wanting to share. All right. So this is an older print. This is the first printing of Turn Samurai. All right. I'm showing this version because it makes like literally at the top. It says for mature audience only. Got like that big red band there. I mean, I've since kind of like changed the design a little bit, but you get the idea. Actually, this is like the second. So like the second. Yeah, the second printing. Sorry. But yeah, you see, I have like the mature audiences only there. Yeah, also it's like, hey, Sword Samurai is my comic, it's my comic, people, But yeah, like that's my self censoring because, like, Caster, you've read Turn Samurai, right?
Yeah.
It's got the violence, it's got like the curse words. I say the F-bomb, and that's fine. And I've even like told parents like, hey, this is a mature comic, like that's the whole reason I made Screecher. Is because I was at conventions. And I had lots of parents say, hey, we like Turn Samurai, it's obviously a good comic, but we're buying for our kid, and the comic literally says for Charities is only on the top. And I have nothing for that. I have no response. Well, my response was to make Screecher. Something that I could sell to everybody. And I still sold Turn Samurai, I still produced it. But that's the thing. It's variety.
Yeah. And there's a certain audience that you're trying to get with your product. That's the thing. And that's the thing with games too. There's a certain audience they're trying to get. Like for instance, the Call of Duty crowd, they're trying to get that 18 through 34 range. So bam, they're going to have a more mature game because that's what they're doing. They're allowed to push the envelope just a little bit further than say a rated T game. But also Johnny Ortez, hi, how you doing, buddy?
Yeah, I was literally waiting for you to finish. Sorry, we didn't say anything earlier, Johnny. Just both of us were kind of like wound up and kind of doing our thing. But yeah, hey Johnny, how you doing?
Insert that joke how it feels to live long enough to see Jack Thompson's censorship back again. Yeah, it's like it loops around.
Like that is the other thing I wanted to talk about, and let's just kind of segue into that. Like,
Jack Thompson.
Oh God. There's a reason why he's on the image. I could have done Anita Sarkeesian, and we'll talk about her. But I feel like having her on the cover was too bit of a firebrand. I wanted somebody that like everybody hated. Censorship. I censored myself.
Yeah.
God dang it. Oh God. But yeah. See, like the thing is, a lot of the censorship in the 90s came from the right, came from the religious groups, the Satanic Panic, which actually happened.
Yeah.
Oh God. I was gonna make a comparison, but I figured like, okay, that was a little bit too much. But yeah. So Caster, as a person who lived through the 80s, what was the Satanic Panic like for you?
Well, by and large, I didn't notice a whole lot of it because, like, I was kind of younger at the time. So a lot of the stuff that parents were really, saying, ooh, this is bad, I wasn't getting into, like, say, for instance, D&D. That was big time Satanic Panic on that. But a lot of the self-censoring that I experienced as a child, though, was more of like, not self-censoring, but was more of like the what's it called, the Child Educational Act or whatever, where it's like they had to censor the cartoons so they couldn't be blatant toy commercials for 30 minutes.
Oh yeah, it's because like Reagan deregulated it in the 80s and they re-regulated it in the 90s.
Yeah. But now, I will say though, censorship though, to play devil's advocate, censorship sometimes has worked out beneficial because it's let creators, I guess, get into a box and see what they can and cannot get away with and can and cannot do.
Yeah, and, I mean that almost seems like an entirely different discussion, like limitations bringing creativity, but you're not wrong, sir.
Yeah.
I want to, like we're talking about the satanic panic. Like check this out.
Is connected to devil worship. That's the focus tonight of Lonnie Lardner's special report on Satanism. But we want to warn you now that some things you're about to see and hear might be too graphic for children. Lonnie.
Oh boy.
Terry, authorities tell us that the most serious or perhaps the most dangerous kind of devil worship comes in the form of underground cults. Most of them are very secretive, usually organizing clandestine rituals in the dark of night. Well, those
Oh no, they're meeting in they're meeting at the YMCA in the cafeteria. Oh no, look at these cults.
Oh
They're meeting at
no.
the YMCA and they're playing D&D. Obviously,
And they're going to get your child.
It's 10 o'clock. Do you know where your children are?
Yeah. Do you know where your kids are at? Yeah.
I don't have any kids.
Yeah, I know exactly.
Unless you want to talk about these nuts.
But that's what it was. It was like this whole panic that your kids are going to turn out to be devil worshippers because you're not watching every single little thing that they're doing.
Yeah, I mean, it did kind of feed into like a lot of the fears because Gen X was like very much like the latchkey generation. Like they were kind of like left to their own devices because Gen X was really like the first generation where either both parents worked or it was kind of like the first time you had single mothers en masse raising their kids.
Yeah.
So a lot of times you had like the older brother or older sister kind of take on the parent role. Like that's what my mom did. My mom basically had to be the mother to her children. You know, like I remember one really sad thing she said is like she married my dad when she was like 17 and 18. They're still married, by the way. This is in the 70s. And she had my sister when she was still in high school. But I remember like she made the comment like, "Oh, I felt ready to be a parent because I had already spent like the last 10 years raising my brothers and sisters." That's a really sad thing. Like I get what she's saying, it's positive, but it's really sad, you know?
Yeah.
Like my heart kind of broke when I heard my mom say that. Like yes, it's great that you stepped up, but you know, you missed out on your own childhood. But that's sorry, that's getting way beyond the point.
Yeah. But I would say it was really weird seeing like, you know, I think like in the early 90s it was, you know, Congress coming together to try censorship games was such a weird time. Where you turn on C-SPAN and they were talking about Mortal Kombat and Night Trap and Doom.
Like, to be fair, only 2 out of the 3 were really worth the controversy.
Yeah.
Like, there's really only one scene of Night Trap that has like really questionable, like truly questionable content. And even then, I'm like getting it. Like I did like a full on. I did a playthrough of Night Trap last Halloween, and oh god, what's that movie tame? That show was tame. All right. All right, yeah, I'm sorry. I don't feel like I'd have to dig it up. I don't feel like doing that. But yeah, like the congressional hearings, which are so cringe. They are so cringe. Like, you think it's bad now when you see like out of touch people like, so what is a TikTok?
Yeah.
You know, like you see like these 90, like they're not even boomers. They're like silent generation people. Like some of these people first got into Congress in the 60s.
Yeah.
You see people who's like a grandpa or like a great grandpa, you know, trying to be like, what's a Facebook? Yeah. Like we make fun of it, but like it's some of the stuff where like they're so out of touch. It's insane. And I think a lot of people have like been banking on that. That's why when you see like some like Gen Xers get into Congress, where like they know about video games and they start talking about it. These films like, wait, you actually know what you're talking about? I don't know my talking points. But yeah,
Exactly. And it's like every generation has its great censoring, you know, or
yeah. Every
its great
generation has
panic.
this boogeyman. Like video games are still a scapegoat.
Yeah.
But TikTok is kind of the scapegoat for Gen Z, I would say.
But like 20 years ago, we had like, you know, like you said, we had Grand Theft Auto come out, and that was just a huge thing. Um,
Mm-hmm.
you know, and honestly, when you go back and play Grand Theft Auto 3, it is really tame by today's standards. But I can
I
understand
mean,
back in the day,
yes
yeah,
and no. It's definitely cartoonish. Um,
yeah,
but it does have like I can see why people are getting up in arms about GTA for the time, and it
oh yeah,
still is a bit edgy. Um, but yeah, Grand Theft Auto was a big punching bag in the 2000s. That hot coffee mod situation was way overblown.
way overblown, definitely.
So
Because
for
you go
those
like we
who aren't
said,
aware, I have to explain this. So in Grand Theft Auto San Andreas, you can date women. And at a certain point at the end of the date, if you played your cards right, she'd say, "Hey, would you like to come back inside for some hot coffee?" And then you'd walk inside, the screen would go black, and you kind of fill in the blanks about what happened.
yeah,
I'm doing it
there'd
above
be,
so people. Yeah,
there'd
I'm
be
doing
like
it.
there'd be
I'm
like
making sure
noises,
people know, like I'm not,
yeah.
just. Um,
Well, there'd be
so
noises and stuff, you know, yeah. So
yeah, so apparently there's supposed to be a sex minigame in GTA San Andreas where you actually simulate the act, and it's in the code. It's unfinished, but it's very clear it would have been not very fun. So it wasn't even available. You could mod it in the game on the PC, but on consoles it was completely unavailable. When this is discovered, there was a huge uproar. The game got rated AO for like a short time until they like reissued it and they removed the content. It was a huge big deal. Um, oh gosh.
but see, here's the problem with censoring, okay? Um, and this is what has made me angry for years, for actually decades now, is that you have a compliant industry, right? Because
Mhm.
because when parents came by and said, "Hey, these games are kind of like realistic violence," and instead of like knee jerking and saying, "Oh, well, you're just too sensitive," the industry came together and said, "Okay, well, let's self-regulate. Let's make a
Mhm.
code to do this," and they did that. And so we had to. So that's where we had the ESRB. It's a self-regulated uh,
Yeah.
ratings board. Now there's no excuse under the sun for you buying Little Timmy the wrong game because it's right there in black and white. It says M for mature, T for teen, all that
Yeah.
stuff.
This is
But
why every
but
time I hear like the sorry, finish your thing, Caster.
well, I was going to say, and this is what pisses me off is you have the parent, and this was actually on I think on Dateline or something when they were talking about GTA 3. They were like, "Well, how did little Timmy get the game?" Oh, I bought it for him. Well, then you have given up your right to bitch that you do not like the game if you
Yeah.
caved in and bought it for him because you failed to be a parent. That's the
Yeah.
problem.
Exactly. Whether and this it's the same thing applies to Call of Duty. Call of Duty is an M-rated game. So like when you ever see parents complain about like, oh, kids are playing GTA Online. Did you know? So the M rating is equivalent to an R rated video game. It is
Yes.
literally illegal for a retailer to sell an M rated game to a minor. Like they can actually get into big trouble if they sell it to a minor. It's like selling alcohol to a minor, like equivalent. So
Just like you can't get into an R-rated movie, you know, if you're under 17.
exactly. Um, so like, and this is what ticks me off is I believe in parents know best what is for their children. But apparently they don't, because they keep buying their kids GTA. Oh, we have our favorite monitor in the chat. We have Nix here. And yes, Nix, you have the link. You're welcome to jump on if you want, but if you just want to be in the chat. Now, everyone, be nice, because we have Nix in the chat, and she will not help. She will not. Her bad hammer is Cersei. She will not be. She will not hesitate to censor you if you get out of line. No, everyone here is pretty awesome, but I just wanted to say that.
Her wrath is merciless.
Oh, God, yes.
But, like, this is the thing that I always thought was kind of, weird. So, you have the M-rated game, which is technically 17 and up. And then you have the AO game, which is 18 and up. So the thing is, I never understood why we never got many more adult-only games, like retail sales, but they're sitting there going, oh, well, they don't sell as good or anything like that. And I'm like, well, there's really only one age difference between the two games. And so I don't know. Like, I'm not talking necessarily, graphic sexual content, but even more graphic violence, I guess. I don't know. But it's just kind of weird to me that there's no I guess the equivalent of NC-17 games.
For it's adults only, AO. That's equivalent to NC-17.
Yeah. So that's what I'm saying. So I'm just always find it kind of weird that they always do it just enough to get that mature rating, but AO is off the board, even though it's
there's a reason for that. It's because most stores will refuse to stock AO. Like that was kind of the big deal Grand Theft Auto. It's the same reason why like NC-17 is essentially corn.
Yeah.
And like at your average, like your Walmarts of the world. All right, so we got a newcomer. Hello, sir. Let me read this. Read this. My mom still bought me the rated M games when I was a kid. She liked playing games too, so she said it was for her when she bought it, and it was I just got to play first. And here's the thing, I'm not saying parents buying M-rated games for kids is universally a bad thing. You have kids who can handle this kind of stuff, and that's fine. But the parent thinks like, okay, this child is mature enough to handle GTA, then fine, buy it for your kid. But you don't. But you can't really complain when the child acts out. But if you have the instance, and there's probably lots of kids who are like mature enough to handle like the same. It's the same parents who take their kids to rated R movies because like I've known plenty of people. Like, oh, I was 6 years old. I was watching slasher movies, and they're perfectly well-adjusted people.
That's exactly me. I've been to many an R-rated movie when I was a young kid because that's the thing is like you have to know if your child is able to handle and process that stuff, correctly. Like I know people would say, "Oh my God, how can you take your kid to an R-rated movie?" Well, hell, I watched. My dad took me to go see RoboCop 2 in 1990, and I was only about 8 years old.
And the worst that happened is you maybe giggled when he shot a guy in the dick. Like, okay, whatever.
Yeah, as I'm saying, yeah, there's like there's blood and guts and stuff in there, but the thing is, I've been watching that for years, and it didn't affect me because I was one of those people that knew the difference between reality and fantasy, and that's the thing is as a parent, again, you have.
Caster's back.
Oh well, I didn't know I was gone. I'm sitting in mid rant. But yeah, you have to parent. You have to know what your kid is able to handle and what they can handle. And if if they can handle more mature stuff, then that's fine. That's a decision of the parent. So again, it's parenting.
Yeah, which is a foreign concept to a lot of people. I could make a crass joke about keeping your pants, but let's try to keep this on at a PG-13 level. Again, self-censoring, because this is a PG-13. So I try to keep these streams at like a PG-13 level. There's some swearing, there's some content. I try not to go too far. Sometimes I break that rule, but I try. Again, that's my choice. Other people do more stuff, whatever. I will say one of the best parts about like the PG-13 rating is like you get one F-bomb. So they always kind of like make it special, like, all right, it's allowed one F-bomb. Where are we going to put this F-bomb? Or like the
Exactly.
discussions or like, all right, so this is a PG-13 movie. Where are you putting the F-bomb? Like, all right, Lord of the Rings is a PG-13 movie. Where are we putting the F-bomb?
Yeah.
They're taking the hobbits to effing Isengard. God.
What is your F and I see?
I'm here to recruit you to the effing Avengers Initiative. I'm effing Iron Man.
And Hulk, F and smash.
Oh God, yes.
Just
and he just smiles.
Yeah. But that's the thing. Is just again, it to me, it's really just up to the parent and being more educated in what your kids are getting, because a lot of parents will just buy shit, throw it to them. Here you go, don't question it. A lot of parents act like well, back in the day TV, but I guess nowadays they act like the Switch and the iPad and the phone are the babysitters.
Yeah,
nowadays.
like that's why they call Gen Z the iPad generation. One thing that speaking of that is a bit of a tangent. I remember my sister telling me the story. So she has kids, of course, and I think it was like her 4-year-old son ordered Nerf guns off of Amazon using the Amazon tablet. So,
oh wow.
So one day, some Nerf guns showed up at their house. Like, hey, did you order this? Who ordered this? They discovered that he used the Amazon tablet, 4 years old, mind you, to order Nerf guns using the tablet.
Had the credit card information and everything.
Yes, 4 years old. God, I couldn't do that at that age. Oh God.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, it's simple pattern recognition. Like, he was probably smart enough to they probably did it in front of him probably many times, so he knew what to do.
Mm-hmm.
I can totally see it happening, but it's crazy,
Yeah.
Oh gosh. But I think the really big problem when we start to get in the 2000s is you start to see the agitators come in. You always see this in controversial movements. You have the pundits, who kind of come in, say a lot of bad stuff, kind of make things worse. Caster, the kind of people I'm talking about.
Yeah.
I'm just gonna type it in because. Yeah, those kind of people.
Yeah. I know.
Yeah. I don't like censorship either, sir. But yeah, so in the 2000s, you had the rise of the video game agitators. You had the Jack Thompsons of the world, saying some really bad stuff. It got to the point where he got disbarred.
Oh yeah, because he said some crazy shit. And I've always wanted to. I never got to buy it, but I always wanted to buy some Jack Thompson toilet paper
and actually use it.
Yeah, and actually use it. They had it. You could buy it. It said Jack Thompson all over again, so you can wipe your ass with his name. But let's see. Did you know that DC's Lobo had his own TVMA webtoon? It's a lot like the comics.
Ooh,
I didn't know that.
Speaking of really mature comics, have you seen the Spawn HBO series from the 90s?
Yes.
Oh God, it is glorious.
They
do not hold back. And it's Spawn too, which it needs that.
Yeah.
Oh
Well, and it is an interesting story that Todd McFarlane always tells about uh, the merchandising people coming and talking to him,
mm-hmm.
and he said, he said like, the merchandising people, they don't know what they're looking at. They look at numbers, and that's all they see. So they look at the
Mm-hmm.
top comic books that are being sold, and of course, Spawn's number one in the '90s.
Yeah.
And so they went to Todd McFarlane, and they were like, "Hey, we want to merchandise uh, your comic." So he was like, "Well, I need you to go read some comics for me, and then you can come back and ask me if you want to still do it." Well, he gave him a bunch of comics, and then never came back because the thing was they were wanting like um, bath time soaps and shampoos, coloring books, backpacks, shirts and socks, thermoses, things like that for kids. And he was like, "You obviously haven't read my stuff, have you?" So,
Not
like,
gonna lie, all that stuff for Spawn in the '90s, just like Spawn bubble bath in the '90s, just
yeah.
sounds like amazing.
Well, he did say it would be funny having like imagining a kid like, what are you doing, Johnny? And like a kid's like, I'm coloring Spawn burning in the pits of hell.
or just imagine, it's like a Spawn soap, a Violator soap dispenser, but it's like instead of this dispenser being up here, it's down here. If you
Oh
get what
wow,
I'm saying.
yeah,
All right, let me read the comment. The Lobo webtoon is absolutely funny, gory, and raunchy. It even had the voice talents of Kevin Michael Richardson, Greg Eagles, Gray DeLuise, Tom Kenny. Oh God, that is like a who's who.
yeah.
Wow, I might need to check that out.
Hmm.
So fun. Like I remember, there's like a funny story. He was talking to HBO people because, like, obviously people wanted to make a Spawn Saturday morning cartoon. He's like, "Do you know what this is?" So he's like talking to HBO people, and he just had one question: "Can I say the F word?" And they said yes. And he was like, "Okay, we can do this because if you can say the F word,
Yeah,
everything else is kind of fair game at that point, you know."
exactly.
So it's like this midnight animated series, like in the '90s. Yeah, HBO was on fire in the '90s. Like they were like a huge hub of content. Um,
Yeah.
oh, you archived it yourself? Thank you for your service. We appreciate that. But yeah, like in the 2000s and 2010s, you saw the rise of the agitators, like Jack Thompson.
Hmm.
What funny thing is, um, like that clip I showed at the top of the show from Fox News, that actually turned into a debate. And you want to know who's on the pro video game side?
Who's
Jeff
that?
Keighley. Jeff Keighley.
Oh wow.
Yeah, and like he what's really like in the interview, he just at one point says like point blank, "Have you played the video game?" And then they just get silent.
Oh yeah. It's like you're judging it based on what you've heard and what little you've seen.
Mm-hmm.
I remember one
Like,
time my mother came to me and she asked me um, a very weird question, and it made me like really cock my head because I was like, "What?"
it made you cock your head.
Yeah, because I was just like, "How do you know that?" She's like, "Have you ever played a game called EverQuest?" And I was like, "No." Well, they were worried that I would end up like some poor SOB on there. Um, because there was a story a long time ago where this guy he met somebody on EverQuest, I guess a girl or whatever, and they did that thing where you get like a virtual, like you get married in the game.
Oh, I thought you were talking about ERP.
No, and so it was like the EverQuest online. So like
Yeah.
basically this person they they basically just stopped caring about themselves, and they fell into a big depression. And apparently, I guess they fell in love with another player, uh, which was not uncommon back in the day. And sadly, they self deleted, and that's what my mother was asking me, like if I ever played something like that. And I was like, I don't think the game makes you self delete. I think that's
Yeah.
very unique situation, and that kind of goes into what we're talking about now, is where parents will see a situation or hear a story like that and think that's what happens normally.
Yeah,
Like
it's like
you play this game and you're going to kill yourself.
yeah, it's like when Columbine happened. Like Doom was
Yeah,
kind of like, oh, they made levels in Doom to plan out the shooting. Like, yes, they made levels, and like, yeah, you can actually play those levels. They've been archived. They're just Doom levels. Like, I
yeah,
don't know the quality of them, but they're Doom levels. You know, like literally, if you sat someone down to play them, they like you could not tell like you play the Doom levels, like, oh, it's okay. Then you tell them they were made by Columbine people. Like, oh, like you wouldn't be able to tell. But I want to get back to the Mass Effect thing. So, like, the funny thing is, uh, like Fox News, like you can have sex in any different position imaginable, and if you go and actually watch, um, the scenes, they're so tame, so tame. I'm actually confident showcasing them here on the stream. All right, welcome back, sir. Before we do that, let's catch up on some comments. Did you know the first three Sly Cooper games? I actually did hear about that. And then did you know? Oh, all six of them. Nice. So yeah, this is a sex scene from the first Mass Effect. So yeah, we have like minimal nudity here. Though knowing my track record with Twitch, I may be banned on Twitch now. But like, so tame, so friggin' tame. It's ridiculous, really. Oh gosh. Let's see here. Did you know that various? Oh yeah, like I've heard like the backwards compatibility thing. Yeah. But yeah, like a lot of games are backwards compatible, and that's pretty cool. But yeah, Caster's a bit pissed off right now, so he's kind of taking care of that. But so yeah, it's up to me to hold down the freaking fort here. So yeah, oh gosh, but yeah, I love that like in America we're doing the backwards compatible thing. But getting back to the censorship, so you had like Jack Thompson like agitating things going on, making and that's kind of the problem I have is they make these ludicrous claims. It's one thing to like make an argument, be like, oh, they do this or that, like complain about GTA 5 because it has a torture scene. Like, okay, yeah, it has a torture scene. Even I find that like that whole sequence rather uncomfortable. I own a lot of DVD. Good job, sir. Preserving media is an honorable trade. I salute you. Um, but like, yeah, like if you're just like shouting bull crap, it's like, come on, at least make some points or whatever. It's like when like Anita Sarkeesian was like oh you can kill a stripper in Hitman. If you literally watch the footage, you could see he's getting deducted points. Like the level you're really supposed to like stop there, maybe listen to the conversation, and move on. Like, you're not even supposed to kill them or whatever. Totally, like, not what you're supposed to be doing. And it's just... Let's see here. I am aware of that, actually. Yeah, she had a whole storyline. All her scenes were cut. I do remember that. And if I remember correctly, there's a deleted scene in Endgame where it's like Tony Stark's daughter, she's like grown up a little bit. You got the woman from 13 Reasons Why was supposed to play his like older daughter or something like that. Scene was supposed to, I think it was supposed to mirror the Gamora scene with Thanos or whatever. But yeah, let's see here. But yeah, 2010s things kind of like turned on the whole thing. But like by the mid 2010s, you had a whole industry of people criticizing things. Like the problem I had is, it's like what I said is, the censorship was coming from the right in like the 80s and the 90s, and by the 2010s, it had flipped. And the craziest thing was like, you had the left literally using the exact same talking points the right was using back in the 90s, almost word for word. And I remember like watching these newscasts, watching these like videos or whatever, and being like, what? Like it was just kind of confusing to me, because like, and that's the thing I'll never really understand here. And it's just gotten worse. And the problem is they just repeat the same talking points. Like they're just literally using the same stuff from the 90s they've been doing. Like calling anime for calling anime CP or video games bad. It's very uninformed and sometimes maliciously willful ignorant, I would say. And here to save my butt is Caster. Welcome back, sir.
All right, I'm back. Sorry. Yeah, I tried to get back in. For some reason, my mic wasn't working, so I had to like leave and come back. Yeah, so I was listening to everything. So, but yeah, so now we're in the age of the woke, and that is, yeah. To me, it was like, I think I had the same reaction. It was like, who are you again? Why are we fighting about this? Like, you had the people who are on one side, now they're saying, "Ooh, icky," and it's like, what? Like,
yeah, and then you have people who, not even 2 months ago, were defending sexy women, are now decrying it. You know who?
Yeah, yeah, and I just don't.
It's like it wasn't like literally a month ago, 2 months ago, they were saying one thing and then they totally flipped.
Yeah, I don't understand that. It's just weird how that all flipped around, and now it goes from censoring it to protect you to now censoring it to lecture you.
Yeah, and it's like these people are like, see, the thing I don't like is censorship is always argued on a moral basis.
Yeah.
When like morals are determined by the individual, okay? What one person considers acceptable, another may not, okay? Like if you're highly religious and it's like, the only woman I want to see naked is my wife. Okay, if that's how you want to live your life, then go ahead. Enjoy your wife, sir. Make lots of babies. Love your wife. Enjoy your wife's nakedness. And that's the only naked body you want to see. That's totally your choice. And I honestly support it. More power to them.
Mm.
But then to go and say nobody else should be allowed to see naked ladies except for their wife. You get what I'm saying?
Yeah, well, it's kind of weird if you can watch you can watch this actual progression from the flip flop in one particular series. You can watch it in another series, but it's kind of weird how in Mortal Kombat you can watch this flip flop
Ooh.
because you have uh sexy women starting out, and we have sexy women all the way through the 2000s and into the hell into the 20 teens. And then it was all of a sudden they were like flip flop, and now they're more covered up. Now here's the thing: you could say they're more covered up because that's just an aesthetic choice. That's fine, okay. But they're covered up now because icky girl parts. That's
Yeah.
that's the that's the problem I have with it is
Oh,
that you're
yeah.
saying,
That's the other thing. It's like where it's like this hatred for the female body. Um,
yeah,
when like most gamers, if you said, "All right, the women are why are like the argument is always like the whole it's like the whole chainmail bikini armor. Like why are the women the only one who have to wear the sexy clothing? Why can't the men wear sexy clothing? And most men are like, fine. You want to put them in a like a chainmail bikini or whatever. Like you want to go full Conan loincloth? Okay, we're fine with
yeah,
that.
that's fine. Yeah,
Like you
exactly.
want to like I can understand the argument of like, oh, only the women get the sexy armor. Like, oh, the higher end the armor, the less clothing. Like, okay, um, it's a video game. It's stats, it's aesthetic. It's not really realistic to begin with. But like, okay,
Yeah.
fine. We'll make the guy sexy too. You happy? All right, that's equality. Um, but it's not enough for a lot of people. It's not enough. It's
Well, that's what I said. It's to me, it's like if they cover up the women because that's just the aesthetic choice. It's like, oh, this is like a new skin or whatever, or this is how we're gonna depict her from in this game or whatever. That's fine. Okay, that's just different. But if it's just like we're covering her up because we think that she shouldn't be showing as much flesh, I think you're stupid because that's always
like,
been part of Mortal Kombat is that edginess.
yeah.
So you can rip
Day one.
somebody's brains out and play the accordion with their rib cage, but no booty hanging out. Nope, can't do it.
See, that's kind of where we bring in like an American versus European sensibilities comparison there.
Yeah,
Because like if you go over in Europe, it's flip flop. So in America, you can have the most violent depictions of like violence, torture on evening television, but don't you dare show a nipple.
yeah,
Um, but in Europe, it's like, all right, we got bare breast and it's only noon, but don't you dare show a drop of blood.
yeah.
I mean, that's just kind of cultural differences, in my opinion. That's where I kind of chalk it up to. Um, but like, I don't know. I was going somewhere with this. Woo. But like, all right, Caster, take it off from here.
Oh, I was gonna say I was gonna read some of these comments here. So I own various DVDs and Blu-rays of attractive women such as Jessica Alba, Sydney Sweeney, how you pronounce that? Shailene Woodley, Jessica
Shailene
Biel,
Woodley.
Jennifer Connelly, Amanda Seyfield, Megan Fox, Anne Hathaway, etc.
Okay,
Okay.
can we? I need to talk about Sydney Sweeney for a second. The reason why she's so popular, I mean, there's two very big reasons why, but there's another thing. She's an okay actress, all right. Also, I'm just gonna say a hot take: Sydney Sweeney's a butterface. Like she's
Yeah,
okay in the
I
face,
I agree with that.
but she has big jugs. But also, like, it's like, yeah, I am famous for being attractive. Like she acknowledges, like, yeah, I have big boobs, and that's why people like me. That is so refreshing. It's like the honesty of it. Like to me, when I see someone with Sydney Sweeney, it's like, yeah, she's attractive, but she's smart. That woman is smart as frick, and you can tell.
Mhm.
Um, like she knows how to play the Hollywood game. Like when she said, Oh yeah, Madam Web bombed, but I really appreciated the networking opportunities. That was the perfect quote. Like that is something that pleases everybody. Like I respect Sydney Sweeney for like she knows how to play the Hollywood game. Like she
Yeah.
acknowledges like she makes everyone like her, and it's like great. Like and that's why it's the same thing. Like same reason why people liked uh, Jennifer Hunger Games star. What's her name? Star from the Hunger Games.
I can't remember her name. I know you're talking about.
Katniss Everdeen. Let's just call her Katniss Everdeen.
Yeah.
Like she was real. Like she talked about farting. She talked about normal person stuff. That's why people liked her in the 2010s. Is because she was real. Like this is not like what I'm about to say is not a hot take. Authenticity is the currency of the modern age. That is the actual currency we live by nowadays. Let me read this comment. Shailene Woodley isn't ashamed of being beautiful as well, and she did a lot of male gay scenes. She even condemned the attempt on Trump. Yeah, I don't know. Never really got into her stuff. I always found her acting to be not that good. Plus like I don't think she's that attractive. God dang it, I'm terrible.
You want to talk about somebody who? You want to talk
Everyone
about
but
somebody
terminally
who
online weirdos. Yeah.
you want to talk about somebody whose career like hit the fan? Megan Fox.
Oh, yeah, that's another thing we got to talk about is why is it like every actress who trades off her looks in like her 20s and 30s, and as soon as she starts hitting her late 30s, she's like, I don't like sexy woman on media. Like Scarlett Johansson said some of those stuff, but she shut up real quick. Like you notice she said that once and she never said it again.
Yeah.
Like you see it a lot with like a lot of like actresses or
Well,
media
it's
personalities who have treated on their looks, and now that they're starting to see some wrinkles and they're using way too much makeup, as maybe eat less butter, but
well, there's a lot of I noticed this with a lot of different famous people is that they tend to get somewhere um, through certain means, and then they like to kick the ladder behind them. Um,
like
there's a
that's
lot of
kind of
there's
like one of those things, like when the Me Too movement was happening, and a lot of those people were decrying casting couch. It's like I'm sure there's a lot of cases where it was done against their will. I'm sure there was some coercion, but there was a lot of actresses who took their clothes off for Harvey Weinstein, and they willingly did it. I'm sorry.
yeah. Well, I bet there was. I bet there was plenty who didn't, who had no qualms about selling their body for that. Um,
Yeah, yeah.
but I mean, but I'm pretty sure there was a lot who were forced to do that too, and that's where
Oh yeah,
you have the problem.
yeah.
That's where we have the problems at.
Well, the
But to,
problem
but to,
is we don't
but to
know who
think
was
that there was
forced and who
nobody
did it
there,
willingly.
yeah. But to think that there was nobody who did it willingly, because there's plenty of people who would happily do that to
Look at the
gain
rise of
wealth and
OnlyFans.
power.
Look at the rise of
Yeah,
OnlyFans. Like, look at how many
yeah,
women flock to OnlyFans. You
yeah.
know,
So if you don't think there's
and I'm
people
not, and
who
I'm
don't do that, then they're
for the record,
crazy.
I'm not decrying OnlyFans. Like,
Yeah,
OnlyFans is popular for a reason. Okay,
but
but that's not really part of the discussion.
yeah. Okay. I was reading the comment. My favorite Blu-ray
I,
I own is Lord of the Rings extended editions. Okay.
I,
That
yeah,
is
I
that is
have
a
the.
statement.
I mean, I have all three extended editions on DVD. Um, and I like the fancy case that they come in. Like it's really like I just say I miss the DVD era where they put like extra effort into special editions.
Yeah. Yeah.
Oh,
I miss extras and commentary and all that.
oh God, yes. I used to love like the featurettes and commentaries are so much great. Nick, what the frick are you doing? Happy soon to be birthday, my friend.
I'm right, but 3 days before you, Ducky. So
mine was a couple months ago. So yeah, I've completed my revolution around the Earth already, and I'm not due for another 10, 11 months.
so, but yeah, Megan Fox, like she she basically mouthed off to the wrong person, and her career went down the drain from there, and that's what happened.
Uh, yeah, I think
I heard
she compared
she got.
Michael Bay to a German painter, and her career kind of went off the ground for like
Well,
5 years or so.
that's what I'm saying. Her and Michael Bay got into it, and then her career, which that was her whole career was Transformers at that point, and it went down
And
the
you want to
hill.
know how
And
she got her career back on track? She did Turtles.
yeah,
Like she
and
basically had to make up. She basically had to make up with Michael Bay. Now, to be fair, like we talk about the exploitation, supposedly Megan Fox's audition was to wash Michael Bay's car. Yeah, that's not that's a little bit creepy. I'm not gonna lie.
yeah. Um, and then she desperately tried to get some. She desperately tried to get some acting in there when she did Jonah Hex, and that movie was god awful. But getting back to the topic at hand, so yeah, it's just kind of weird how things currently have flip flopped, and
Mm-hmm.
I like to say that I hope that we're kind of getting past this current era of of censorship. I think I think we're starting to see that a little bit. Um,
I think it's too early to tell. Like, obviously, some things are failing. Like, we're seeing some things scrapped. Um, it really depends because, like, even if everyone decides to stop the censorship now, we're still going to see the Drakes come out for like the next few years because like movies and video games take years to develop, and
yeah,
there are movies or video games that were greenlit like in 2023. I mean, hell, there could be some pre-COVID projects that were delayed because of COVID.
yeah,
Just getting off the ground. So we're going to still see a lot of the dregs for the next few years. It's going to get thinner each year.
yeah,
Um, but like, and this is kind of the thing. Like, even when we're in the depths of all this stuff, I said to people, guys, this is like the money's going to run out eventually. Eventually, companies are going to realize, hey, we need to make money.
yeah,
Like look at what
exactly.
like BioWare is basically they're a skeleton crew now. Like it's really make or break with Mass Effect 5. Like if Mass Effect 5 fails, BioWare is done.
Hmm. Absolutely.
I would well, the thing about Charisma Carpenter is she's actually a decent actress, and I feel like she got better as things went on. By the time she got onto Angel, she was a lot better actress. Like I think she really came into her own on Angel, but that's a whole entire conversation, whole entire different stream. But yeah, but yeah. So it's gonna take a minute. Supposedly they're like ripping out all the DEI stuff from Mass Effect 5, but and they're like bringing in like I mean if they bring in like some of the writers like Drew Casprin or whatever, like maybe. But I'm not holding my breath for Mass Effect 5. If it turns out good, we'll see.
Hmm.
But BioWare is definitely one of those companies where if they go, I actually will shed a tear or something because I loved old BioWare. BioWare was okay. Here's the thing: BioWare at one point was the Square Enix of the West.
Yeah, that's a fair statement.
Like in the 2000s, they were like BioWare, and by that I mean Square Enix was a company that makes RPGs and is like the gold standard. BioWare in like the 90s, especially the 2000s, they made RPGs but the Western flavor. Um, and yeah, they were the gold standard of like the Western RPGs. I think like CRPGs or whatever. But yeah. Yep, Mass Effect 3 is already on the ropes. That is correct. I think I'd heard about that. Honestly, I'm not like the biggest fan of James Gunn. I think when you restrain him, like when he's operating a PG-13 realm, he does really good stuff. Like that's the only reason why I have any hope for Superman Legacy is because you have the you have like the bumpers for James Gunn, and like yeah, like James Gunn is like one of those things. Like when you get put out the limiters, he creates like the worst slop imaginable. But if you give him like bumpers, he does really good stuff like Guardians of the Galaxy, and so like this is why the only reason why I think Superman might work. Um, yeah, Vampire the Masquerade. Like I think Bloodlines is being made by a totally separate like company, studio, publisher. But yeah, that game is like Bloodlines is DOA. It'll probably come out and it won't do anything. It's an in-name only sequel. Like, and that really makes me sad because Bloodlines is one of my favorite games.
You remember when Team Ninja was like that badass cool company?
Oh God, yeah. Or like Platinum in their prime
Yeah.
in the 2010s.
Like the guy who ran Team Ninja, he always wore like leather jackets and he had like sunglasses on, and he was like not what you expected from like a CEO of a company, and and now like it's sad to see that the Team Ninja's not like that anymore because I love that attitude that they had. They're just like, yeah, we like sexy women in bikinis. What of it, nerd?
Oh yeah, it's like it was like a like I remember reading a review for like DOA 3. And one of the things is like so the women don't seem to be confined by undergarments. Like that was just a very like way of saying boob fit jiggly boobs.
Yeah,
I've heard of Haunting Ground. I know like the gist of it. But the problem is that game has always been like uber expensive. Like even back in like the early 2010s, it was like a $70-$80 game. Oh gosh, how much is it now? I need to see. I need to see. It's probably like at least like $100-$200 now. But yeah, Haunting Ground. Like I'm not like the biggest horror fan. And like Haunting Ground was like this big like it was like really expensive. All right. Oh my god. Oh my god. Oh my god. All right, let me just let me zoom in, enhance. So, oh my god, almost $400 for this game. Oh my god, that is ridiculous.
we're complete. Yeah, complete in box. Yep.
Yeah. Oh my god.
And for anybody who doesn't know, loose means just the disc,
Yeah.
which is crazy. Graded, oh my god, that's a whole nother can of bullshit. But look at that.
Oh yeah. Like honestly, Bloodlines 2. Like I like in the initial hype cycle when they had like some of the original devs in, but then like they got rid of the guy like a year later. That pissed me off so much.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, there's an entirely different conversation about like how video game prices are like so expensive. It's not even worth it to collect unless like you're making like boatloads of money.
Mm-hmm.
That's a whole entire stream.
Yeah, that's a whole nother can of worms. Yeah.
But yeah, uh, actually, yeah, let's do a section here where we're looking up games. So it's pricecharting.com. But so anyone in chat want me to look up games? What Alita game do you want me to look up? I don't think I'm spelling Alita right. Let me just Alita. I was not aware of that, Christian. Oh wow, they're tracking Funko Pops. Wow.
Look up Battle Angel.
Okay.
But,
Yeah, Lita.
because it's actually called Battle Angel Alita, but the movie for some reason calls it Alita Battle Angel.
That's weird.
I think because they wanted the A in the name.
Yeah, they want. I can see that.
Just so alphabetically, it's on top. Yeah.
What system was it for?
Not seeing it there, Ducky.
Yeah, what system was it for? That would help. Let's just do NTSC. Okay. God dang it.
Look up Heart Gold.
Oh God. PS1. Let's just do video games. Jesus Christ, come on! Why are you making this so hard? It's like, and I did games, and it's like, comic books. What the freaking hell?
Yeah.
Oh,
really
no
weird.
results found. But yeah, yeah, Soul Silver was let's see here, Nintendo DS. Okay, it seems like it's actually gone down a little bit. Because I remember because like my prime like video game hunting years was like 2013 to about 2017. And Heart Gold was always like $100 game, so it being 190. That's not too bad, honestly. Like it's almost doubled in price, but honestly, I'm not like too upset about it.
Now that's if you have just the case, but if you have like the whole shebang, like the cardboard box that came in with the Poke Walker, then that's some big money right there.
I think complete is with the Poke Walker and whatnot. I believe you, Angelus. You never kind of thing.
Well, that's the thing is some games might be kind of obscure for price charting. Doesn't necessarily mean it doesn't exist.
This one is not obscure.
Yeah, definitely.
But I love this feature. Like $80. Let's do complete. Like 2016, complete in box is 80, and then during the height of COVID, complete in box it was like 2021.
Yep.
$201.
Heart Gold and Soul Silver are two of my most expensive games I own, just because of that. The one I really my most expensive game is Metal Storm.
The most expensive game that I have ever owned is I need to brag.
Oh shit! Hold on. Oh my god! Complete.
Yeah, I owned it loose. So I purchased it right around this era when it was going for about $300 loose, and I bought it for $200. A year or so later, I sold it for $300.
Wow.
Yeah, but this was the rarest game, most expensive game I've ever owned. I'm not really much of a game collector anymore. I've since sold off most of my stuff, but just look at the loose price for that. That is insane. I'm kind of like I'm looking at like the staple rare games now, just kind of seeing how much they're going for. Here's the thing about Earthbound. Earthbound has always kind of been a relatively like stable game. Like it was
Yeah.
always 100, 150. Now it's like 350. Start to kind of go down a little bit. But like $2,000, $2,500 for a complete copy is insane.
Yeah.
That is
Did you know there's an official Homestar Runner YouTube channel with new tunes?
Oh.
I'm gonna be honest with you, Ducky. I have not watched Homestar Runner in a long time, but you know what? I might change that. I'll look that up.
Here's another like staple rare game. Like
Oh yeah,
I actually would buy this.
I say
Snatcher.
I have it bootlegged. So
Yeah, the thing about Snatcher is it's come out in like a lot of different formats. The only time it came out in English was on the Sega CD.
yeah,
So unless you want to play like a fan, like I don't think there's even fan translation versions of this game. I know there is for Police Knots. I have the
yeah.
have the PS1
Well,
version of Police Knots.
I mean, Snatcher was released in the U.S., so it has a U.S. Version to it. Now there is two versions. There's a censored version. Getting back to what we're talking about, there's a censored version and an uncensored version.
What's the uncensored version have?
A lot more blood and guts. Like for
And I
instance,
think
early in the game, you find one of your fellow because you're known as a junker. You
you're a
find
Blade
one of
Runner.
your
You're Blade. This game is basically
yeah,
Blade Runner.
yeah, basically it's Blade Runner, but yeah. Your fellow junker is found dead with their head twisted off, and there's like a awesome 16-bit pixelation of like just a severed head on the ground with a look of horrifying, look of horror etched on its face. And in the censored version, you still see the outline of the head, but it's kind of like shadowed out. Whereas in the original, uncensored version, it's completely there for all to see, all its beautiful goriness.
Yeah, and I
Of
think
course,
there is some
there's other things too, but that's the biggest
Yeah,
thing.
I think even the base American version, like I think like that girl, they made her 18 in the English version because she's like 14 or something, in like the
Yeah.
Japanese thing or whatever. I think there's other things, but Angelus sent me this, and I wanted to showcase it real quick. So yes,
Oh,
this is now remember these are kangaroo dollars, so just remember that these
oh,
are
so it doesn't matter then.
yes, it's like Canadian money. It's all pretend.
Yeah. I got a Monopoly box in the other room. I think I can afford this.
Oh god.
But
Yeah, so these are Canadian, these are kangaroo dollars.
bring up a picture real quick so we can see. It's kind of
Oh crap.
like if you can click on the image.
There we go.
Okay, that's a little bit better. Oh, that looks badass.
God dang it! I'm trying to keeps going to the next new tab, but like it won't work that way.
Oh man, see this is the kind of crap I would love to like play. Like I really wish we had like more translations and stuff because there's so many great games that never
I
left
mean,
Japan.
there are a lot of fan translations.
Yeah.
Like there's a whole entire like website.
Oh, I know.
Like seriously, like the whole reason we have a lot of games, like the only reason we got Live a Live. All right, that's actually not what I wanted. I know there's like a website. Yeah, yeah, I can believe it.
This would be Stella Blade of the '90s. Yeah, I love how there's that one game that comes out that just pisses off the other side.
All right, so here,
And
let's see. Yeah.
and Stella Blade is one of those games.
Yeah. Yeah. Let's just do PlayStation. Okay. Um, I must verify that I'm human. No, I am a phoenix. But yeah, there's a lot of fan translations. The problem is, unless you find like a pre-patched ROM, you have to like patch it yourself, and then you got to learn. Then you got to learn how to patch it. Like I remember, I wanted to like they did a remake of Dragon Quest II for the 3DS, and there's a fan translation for it. I had to track down it. I had to like apply the ROM, apply the patch. It was a whole thing. Like I actually had to learn how to patch it. That was fun.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, there's always like a battleground game, like a battleground movie, where like everyone's having like the big controversy. Alita Battle Angel, the movie, that was a big like talking point battle thing. I think one of the problems was,
For no reason.
I think a lot of it was people were propping up like this was around the time of Captain Marvel,
Yeah,
and people were propping up Alita as, see, this is what we want from our female action movies. And yes, Alita is better than Captain Marvel. The the
yeah,
the 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 uh the bowel movement I had earlier today is better than Captain Marvel. That's not the point.
yeah.
And I think because it was getting kind of propped up like that, it was getting attacked in some way, which it really didn't deserve. Alita Battle Angel is a great movie, and honestly, I love the movie. And the Alita fans are like the sweetest people ever. I gotta say, I can't say enough good things about the Alita fan base. Every interaction I've had with them has just been amazing. Like obviously, Angelus
Yeah.
herself is an Alita fan. But yeah, I can't say enough good things about the fan base. If you're an
One
Alita
of my
fan,
favorite
you're
movies.
awesome.
I actually went to go see that on my birthday when it came out. Because that was such a I loved it. I loved the movie, the live action movie. And that was the thing. Is like, yeah, they tried to pin it up against Captain Marvel, and I was just like, this is this is what I want. Like you said, a good action movie with a good strong female character who's naturally like it's a natural strong female, not like she's being propped up or like you know it's some kind of like uh I don't know, some kind of like woke bullshit. It's like she's naturally fills that role. You know,
Yeah,
she's a character. That's what I meant. She's a character, not just simply there as as a lecturing tool. She's actually an actual character with thoughts and feelings. Where you watch Captain Marvel, and I'm sorry, but what's her name it's such a wooden performance. It's
yeah. I've seen her in some things. Like I think she was good in Kong Skull Island. Um, I think like she was great in Scott Pilgrim, but she was basically just acting like herself in Scott Pilgrim. Uh, yeah, exactly. And like, gosh, we're straying so far, but it ties in. Here's the thing: people don't mind if something is naturally diverse. Like, look at all the stuff in the '90s that was all naturally
yeah.
diverse.
Number one comic in the '90s was about a black man.
To be fair, he had his mask on like 99.9% of the time.
I understand, but he was a black guy, But no one cared because it was a effing cool comic.
The number one TV show in the late '80s was about a black man.
Yeah. See, I censored myself there.
Yeah. I mean, hell, in the 90s, like, look at all, like, the great black shows we had in the 90s, like Family Matters, Fresh Prince of Bel-Air, like, a lot of
Yeah.
really, like, really great shows. And the thing is, they tackled a lot of the topics, like the racism topics, but they did it in, like, a great way.
Yeah. And, and here's the thing, right? Okay, so this is the difference between then and now, right? So you're going to watch. Okay, so say we're back in whenever Black Panther came out, right?
Mm-hmm.
So Black Panther movie comes out, everyone's going, "Oh wow, it's a black superhero movie. Oh yeah, black superhero movie, black superhero movie, black superhero movie, black superhero movie. Yeah, black superhero movie." Blade comes out in 1998. You know what you're saying? Holy shit, did you fucking see Blade? That's fucking cool, dude, where he fucking cuts some dude's head off. Holy shit, dude. I'm going to go watch it twice. That movie was fucking awesome. Dude, let's go watch Blade together. No one gave a shit about anything like that. No one gave a shit. Everyone was like, holy shit, did you see Wesley Snipes as Blade? That's awesome.
So fun fact, Angelus. Gargoyles for Goliath was voiced by Keith David. You want to know who Keith David also voiced? Spawn!
Spawn. Yeah.
We're happy to have you here, Christian, so feel free.
Yeah.
But like, the thing about Black Panther, and the reason why
Christian's like the pop-up video of this stream.
Yeah, we're happy. Oh, God, that takes me back. I remember watching those.
Yeah.
I'm old, God, Dolph. The thing about Black Panther was the marketing was on point. Like, basically, they didn't market it off of, like, the racial divide. To me, it was like, this is a celebration of black people and black culture, and everyone is invited. You know? Like, that, like, there was kind of like a positive angle to the marketing of the movie. Like, yes, we're celebrating Africa, we're celebrating black culture, but please, everyone come. We want everyone to partake in this. And the movie itself was not bad. I mean,
that's not what I was hearing. I mean,
sorry.
I mean, there was a lot of people saying that, like, white people need to, like, not buy tickets to this movie and let black people see it first before. Yeah, and I was like, why? I was like, why? Because it's should we if you want to support something, then support it.
Yeah, like,
I will say,
did you know
what?
That Brian Coogler on set, he referred to Martin Freeman and Andy Serkis as the Tolkien white boys. And you know what? And you know what? I'm not offended, because that's funny, because they're the token white boys on a movie. It's reversed, but also Tolkien. It's like, because that's like, even I commented, like, the interrogation thing. It's Bilbo interrogating Smeagol. It's funny.
That's funny. I will agree with Christian there. Andy Serkis's claw was very much wasted.
Yeah.
Didn't really leave much of an impact.
I did enjoy what little we had of him. He chewed up the scenery like you wouldn't believe.
Oh yeah, that's what I'm saying. He was awesome.
I love that, like, he talked about, like, oh, have you seen my mixtape? And they actually released his mixtape on Spotify. That was great.
Oh wow.
But yeah, Keith David has had, like, a storied career in voice acting. Oh my God, I love that man. Yeah. You know what? I want to look up his IMDb. Like, let's just kind of marvel at all the stuff he's done, because this is going to be a huge list.
He also did. He was also in Princess Mononoke.
Really?
In the English dub. Yeah, in the English dub. He was the opening narrator.
They Live, The Thing, Armageddon.
Yeah. He was the opening narrator, and he also played one of the I guess forest spirits with a giant pig.
Reaper Jones. Oh, nice.
Did you know that Zatanna had her own webtoon written by Paul Dini? She was voiced by Tara Strong.
Ooh, cool.
written by Paul Dini. Yeah, that actually, that might scratch an itch.
Yeah, Paul Dini's a good writer. Oh God, like how many times has Keith David voiced the president?
Yeah.
Oh, they brought him back for
I
God,
like
look at
that
all
one
this
episode.
stuff.
I like that one episode of Rick and Morty where the president he's like drowning in water and he's like, I guess hearing like his life, hearing his life flash through his before his eyes, and he's like, you just hear all the moments in his life that are, like I guess notable, and every single one of them is like, holy crap, it's the PS1. Holy crap, check it out, it's the PS2. Guess what, guys? I got a PS3. Look up PS4. Like it was just all
This movie was paid. This movie was sponsored by Sony Computer Entertainment.
Yeah, it was like every moment of his life that was like memorable was like him opening up a new PlayStation.
All right. It's a Nintendo 64. God dang it.
Oh man,
but yeah, like there's always been a call for censorship, whether internal or external. It's like the people may change, but the message always stays the same. That's kind of what I'm getting at here.
yeah,
it's just really weird that it just flip flops from kind of thing. And the other thing that I'm really not enjoying is now that like the left is losing its power, all of like the puritanicals that were silent for the last 10 years, like, all right, I can speak up again, and they're just immediately getting hammered down. It's kind of beautiful to see.
Yeah. And I do want to acknowledge, like, not just in video games, but in every medium that has been, censored, through like government means or whatever, or against their will, basically. I just want to say, like, how impressed I am of some of the artwork that has come out of that. Being confined to such strict rules and regulations, and how they've made such beautiful art from that.
Mm-hmm.
And wondering what could they do if their hands were untied from it. Like, for instance, for like Batman the Animated Series, there was a lot of restrictions, a lot of stuff that they had to cater to standards and practices. But they somehow made one of the best animated shows for children. Well, not really for children, but for anybody really. But one of the best animated shows of the 90s.
It's like what I was saying with James Gunn earlier. It's like, if you tell James Gunn you have to make a PG-13 movie, he creates some of the best movies ever. But you take the limiters off, it's slop. Like Creature Commando, Suicide Squad, Peacemaker. Like, it's just I'm sorry, James Gunn. The F-bomb is not a replacement for interesting dialogue. I don't care how many times you say the F word. It's not interesting. James Gunn, to me, in a lot of his works, to me, they come across as a 12-year-old who just learned how to say the F word. Arkhamverse is really interesting because I've heard some people like call the Arkhamverse R-rated BTAS, and yeah, but it's still limited. You know what I'm saying? Like, they're not like, oh my god, there's blood, guts, and gore. They're still kind of keeping it to a certain limiter. What do you think, Caster?
I think the Arkhamverse is. I would actually agree with that. The Arkhamverse is more of an R-rated, or R-rated Batman, the animated series. But I think it's like free from those restrictions of things they can do, because it's a little bit more dangerous in the Arkhamverse than it is in the Batman animated series. But the thing is, like, it's still like, again, it's still like there's that bit of censoring to it. There's, like you said, there's no blood and guts and stuff like that in there, because they know their audience. It's not like, if this was a Spawn game, then yeah, there'd be body parts flying everywhere because that's the tone of it. But Batman is dark, but it never goes to that extreme gore because
I
that's
mean,
not what Bat.
sometimes it does,
Sometimes
and
it does, but
and
most iterations of Batman kind of know where it needs to be in that sweet spot.
yeah, like Batman of all the DC superheroes is like the one is like the one superhero where you could do an R-rated version of it and it could work.
Yeah,
Um, yeah, the Comics Code Authority birthed a lot of innovative things. Um, one thing I really liked is sometimes they're like, screw the Comics Code Authority. This is too important a message. Like back in the '60s, they got a letter from the government asking them to do an anti-drug issue. So
yeah,
they did it, the Spider-Man drug issue.
yep,
And the Comics Code Authority is like, oh no, there's drugs in this. You can't have it. Never mind you that like this is a anti-drug issue. So they did it without
yeah,
it.
yeah. It's like it's got drugs in it, but it's not. It's not glorifying drugs. Yeah, like you said, it's anti-drug, which is kind of stupid. Um, yeah, I remember that story. Stan Lee went to his publisher and was like, "What are we going to do?" And his publisher was like, "Hey, fuck it, send it out." Like, don't worry about
Yeah.
it. And you know what happened to them? Nothing. They didn't get a
Yeah,
letter from the Comics
yeah,
Code Authority or nothing. Yeah, it was just a paper tiger, basically.
yeah. And the only thing is they just couldn't have that label on it. Yeah, like comics in the '70s are really interesting because like they started to get political, they started to get topical. One of my favorites was like the Green Lantern, Green Arrow comic series. Um,
Y-
and
Yeah,
it
they they
had what like
they
this is one of my favorite comic covers of all time.
yeah they pretty much like pulled, like if it was in the newspaper, it was in Green Lantern and Green Arrow that month.
Also, you notice how this has the seal on it, and it's like my ward Speedy is a junkie. The cover, he's literally about to shoot up on the cover.
Yeah,
The only bad part about this is this literally became Speedy's character. Like he's still the junkie character. Like he's often called the recovering superhero.
oh
Um,
man, I didn't know that.
yeah, like the whole drugs thing, literally became his character even up to this day. Um, I know in the like he appeared in New Teen Titans. He had like a guest appearance on a run. Literally, just he recruited the Teen Titans. Um, to like raid a drug island, and there's this thing where Starfest says, "What are drugs?" And then like Speedy does like the most Saturday afternoons, like drugs are bad. They do bad things, Starfire.
Well, it's like, I think what happened to Speedy is he got the Hank Pym treatment, where like Hank Pym did one bad thing in his run, and that's what he's known for apparently now. Like Hank Pym smacked his wife, but apparently now that's all he is a wife beater. And it's
Even
like,
if
can
you
we?
like look at it in context, it's like
Oh
one
yeah, but I'm just
time and
saying.
like he was like the equivalent of like mind altering substances or whatever.
Yeah, or Tony Stark is always he's always going to be an alcoholic somewhere in the comic.
Mm-hmm.
It's like there's like one thing that they can't get away from, like that happens to them. So yeah, Speedy doing odd enough speed, um, that'll be his thing for, like, for beyond, infinity, is
They
just he'll
even
always be that junkie.
What's funny is even in Arrow when they had Roy Harper, they even kind of did a version of that in season 2, where he was like that Mirakuru thing, like the whatever serum thing.
Yeah,
Um, it's actually kind of funny they did a version of it in that. New 52, he was like recovering. It's really funny.
I
Um,
I think Hal Jordan's the only one that beat that rap because he did the thing where he became the villain, but now that's not his character anymore. Like you know,
I think it's
he
because Hal Jordan is like really iconic.
yeah
Like Hal Jordan is like he's like it's like he's up there like Hal Jordan is up there for like Flash, Batman, or whatever.
yeah
To where like one bad story run can't ruin the character, you know.
yeah. So like, but you never hear about him being Parallax and killing everybody, constantly.
Yeah. What other
That's
comic characters are like had that like one thing happen to them?
and that becomes their whole character.
I definitely think Spider-Man is still living in the shadow of one more day, but that's more the editors refusing to let him move on from it.
Yeah, Jason Todd always gets killed, becomes Red Hood.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. Oh, that reminds me of like my favorite meme. It was like a Twitter profile, but it says it was like Uncle Ben. It's like, stop rebooting Spider-Man. I'm tired of getting shot.
Yeah, yeah. Uncle Ben is basically just a bullet sponge.
Yeah, literally. I love the people with the MJ like Aunt May should be old and crusty. I shouldn't be turned on looking at Aunt May. You know.
Uh-huh.
I liked Marissa Tomei as Aunt May, just because like the Peter in it was so much younger. Of course, Aunt May's gonna be younger. You know.
I'm also glad Gwen Stacy doesn't just die every time she's introduced into a new continuity.
I actually really like they kind of played around with that in Spider-Verse, where it's like every time Gwen Stacy falls in love with Spider-Man, she dies. see, this is why Gwen Stacy shouldn't try to throw it back.
Yeah.
Yeah. I gotta say that Amazing Spider-Verse death is actually really brutal because they actually show her back snapping in that. It's really brutal. Yeah, I do like the Amazing Spider-Man. Oh god, Caster, you need to head over to Twitch and exert your mod powers.
All right, hold on.
All right, yeah. I mean, as long as something is popular, there will be people trying to make a buck off of it. Grifters, if you will. I don't know. I think we're kind of getting to a point where, oh my god, you killed Kenny! Like, wasn't, like, whenever Kenny talked, apparently, like, he was saying, like, some really nasty crap. It was just muffled by, like, the hoodie or something. I think they did that. The other thing is, censorship can kind of be really kind of interesting. Like, if you ever watch Hunger Games Catching Fire, like, there's this moment where one of the characters getting interviewed, and she's, like, all pissed off. And she's, like, it's like saying F you to the audience, and they bleep it in the movie. I actually thought that was, like, actually really kind of cool. Like, because it was a TV broadcast. But I think them bleeping it was actually kind of funny. The other thing is, there's a YouTube channel where they have like unnecessary censorship, where like they add bleeps, and it is like the funniest thing ever. All right. Oh, hello. I search unnecessary censorship in my videos, like one of the few things that pops up. I
closed the wrong tab.
Oh god. I was talking about how like censorship can be like kind of funny sometimes. Yeah. I want to show this video real quick.
Can I say something crazy? Will you me?
You can't a man you just met. You can if it's true love. I can't wait to everyone. What if I the one?
You see what?
Yeah, I love unnecessary censorship.
Oh, I love how as soon as I play a Disney video, Nyx is like, oh, she comes running in.
Well.
Hi, Nyx.
No, I came in because I heard talk about my boy Roy Harper.
Oh, wait, she's gonna lay the smack down.
No, actually.
Are you calling from a payphone?
Huh?
Your voice is a little bit weird.
Yeah, I'm using my phone instead of all the other stuff.
Okay.
All right, well, we're just happy to have you here.
I was like, I could make a computer, but I don't want to. Very lazy.
Yeah, I respect that.
But
anyway, Nyx, you're talking about Roy Harper?
Yeah, I find it really funny that nobody talks about how big of an asshole Green Arrow is to Roy. Like, the minute he finds out that his sidekick is a junkie, he tosses him out on the street instead of getting him, help, support, all the good stuff.
Yeah.
Not very heroic, Green Arrow.
Yeah, agreed. Because if this was Batman and it, like Jason, Tim, or whatever started to be a drug addict, he'd be like, all right, I'm tossing you into a rehab facility. Like, he would do it in like a heartbeat.
Oh, yeah, absolutely. That's just why Batman's superior.
Agreed. So, Nick, since we have you here on the show, what's your take on video game censorship and the people who promote it?
I think that video game censorship is a bad thing. I think censoring anything is a bad thing. It's a very slippery slope thing, too.
Agreed.
And the people who promote it are only doing it because they're losers who don't have any lives of their own.
Yeah, who knew all it took was a bad divorce that was all it took to make you switch teams.
Yeah.
Oh, God. But yeah, it's like we were talking about like Jack Thompson, Needy Sarkeesian, Melanie Mack, Matt Walsh, and the thing that I was saying, it's like the people may change, but the message stays the same. Like we're like they're sprouting the same talking points people have been doing like for the past 30, 40 years.
Yeah.
So like what's your take on like the whole like, oh, women can't be sexy kind of thing?
I think that's an atrocity that never should have existed.
Yes, as a sexy woman herself, like, do you just hate how like they're just telling you not to be yourself?
I don't know why, but for some reason my headphones are telling me that I have a low battery. I'm like, I've been charging all night and all day. What is this?
What is this?
These are from China, so I can't expect too much.
All right, I don't know if you heard what I said.
Okay, it's getting more frequent. I'll have to head on to my computer, I guess.
All right. I'll see you in a second.
Well, wait. Oh, different solution. Wired headphones.
Yay! Yeah, like this is why I love my headphones, because like they have an auxiliary thing on them, so I can just like wire them in if they get bad. Oh God. Yeah, the Stella. Nix, how much of the stream have you been tuning in for?
1 second.
All right. So while we're doing that, Caster, what are like some other egregious kind of censorship stuff you've seen?
There we go. Now I have the proper headset.
Yeah, she
Oh
has the
wow!
power.
All of a sudden, your voice is a lot clearer.
Hooray!
And it sounded like you were like doing a news interview from a phone booth.
She's about to turn into. It's about to turn into Superwoman.
Yeah.
God, I wish that'd be the greatest thing ever.
Yeah, he could fly around with the greatest of ease.
There we go. Now you're charging. And if you don't
Now,
charge
now
up
she's
properly, I swear to God.
now she's playing with power.
But I don't know. I think censorship in and of itself is a terrible thing.
Agreed.
And I don't understand why we have so many people. No, you know what? I do understand. I think it's for them. It's like a whole power thing. They want to feel powerful and in control of something.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, it's like what I said earlier on the stream. Like, if you're a man who your stance is the only naked lady I want to see is my wife, then that's fine. Like fine, you do that. Like, if that's the only naked body you want to see, then okay. But the problem is when you try and force other people to that standard. You know.
Yeah. Hot. It's hard, though, to like talk sense to people because they always want to be right. But
Yeah,
honestly,
it's a pride insecurity kind of thing. Yeah.
yeah. But honestly, I think this whole thing with don't like, don't watch, or don't read, or whatever. I think those kinds of people should take their own advice and just like don't engage with media you have no interest in or you find particularly
I've been
offensive.
saying this. I've been saying this to people forever. Um, like I keep quoting The Simpsons. All right, I gotta pull the clip up. You know, uh, it's like if you don't like my comic, don't buy my book. Like, obviously, I granted, like, she was saying that like from a really smug place and karma kind of bit her in the butt, but it's still kind of good advice, you know.
Yeah.
All right.
Mr. Paul Anka! To stop those monsters, 1, 2, 3. Here's a fresh new way that's trouble-free. It's got Paul Anka's guarantee. Guarantee void in Tennessee. Just don't look, just don't look.
All right. Any more? Like, yeah. I'm sorry. I can only play a small bit of it, but that's kind of the thing. It's like, you don't like it, don't watch it. And like I propose this on like Twitter all the time, and like the visceral reaction I get, like it's like I slapped them or something. And there's also like the people who just like hate watch. It's like, oh my god, I hate the show, but I'm gonna watch every episode, and I'm gonna do an hour-long breakdown about how much I hate the show. Like,
I
and I
don't
say,
get that logic. I've never
no,
understood that.
I think it is something.
like the people I say, it's like, you're not a hater, bitch, you're a fan. You know.
Yeah.
Like I remember like going back to Anita Sarkeesian, like when she would drop a video, like a bunch of the haters would do like a live stream and like watch it and react to it or whatever, and I'm like, why? You're giving her exactly what she wants.
It's like saying, like, you know what? I hate licorice, but I'm going to eat this licorice and have a bad time. But I'm going to explain to everybody why I hate eating licorice while I eat
Yeah,
this
like,
licorice.
I don't like modern Star Wars, so largely I don't talk about. Like, I I don't think I've ever mentioned Skeleton Crew. The Acolyte, I only really commented on it when like you had the egregious stuff pop up, but by and large, I just didn't talk about it. I talk
Didn't
about the
watch
Star Wars
it.
I like. I talk about the Star Wars I like, and I don't talk about the ones I don't. It's simple as, really.
So what you're saying is you practice what you preach.
I try to.
You don't like it, so you don't watch it, and you know, and that's what I try to tell people too. It's like, look, I don't like certain shows. I keep away from them. I have much better stuff to be doing with my time.
Yeah.
I've never understood the logic of hate watching, um, which has been a thing for a while. Um, that was like
Yeah.
back in the day with like Howard Stern. Uh, they were like saying they had so many people who watched him, but he had more people who hated him who listened to him, and well, why are the people who are listening to him, or the people who want to listen to him, who like him, their reason for listening to him was they don't know what he's going to say next, and then they're like, well, why are the people who hate him watch him? Because they don't know what he's going to say next. So it was like it was the same thing. He had more people hate listening to him than he had his own actual fans. But
Yeah, and like
all you did was give him more power. I don't understand that.
yeah, and it's the same thing with like these shows. Nick, you got like some really loud background noise. Yeah, it's like a drone. I'm going to mute you. Uh, yeah, sorry, it was just getting like really overpowering. Um, but um, yeah, it's like Star Wars or anyone. It's like they're baiting the fans, like the rage bait stuff. Like I get there are channels that have like made their like money off of complaining. And yeah, it's
I just 1,000 names popped up at once.
oh god, yes. And like I've tried really hard to not build my channel off of that stuff. Like yes, I react to stuff. Yes, I can be kind of negative, but by and large, I try to be positive. All right, Nick, you there? Nix? Ooh. Looks like she's having some technical difficulties. Um, but yeah. Um, I just don't know, man. You know what? Let's wrap this thing up. We're getting close to the 2 hour mark. So, Caster, what do you got going on, sir?
Well, let's see here. I finally bought a multimeter, so now I can finish that Game Gear I was live streaming fixing. So that's that.
Nice.
Yeah, I got the capacitors mixed up because they're not marked, and I was like, "Oh shit, I don't know which is which." So I had to go out and buy a multimeter because I couldn't find mine, and so I had to like do that, find out which was which. But I figured it out. So yeah, follow me on X and watch me fix the rest of that Game Gear.
Nice. All right, so on Tuesday we are starting Final Fantasy VII, the PC version, the original PC version, with mods. It's gonna look beautiful.
Yay!
Wednesday we're doing Crit Cinema. We're reacting to 2000. Cass will be there. Nix will be there. Friday will be we're talking about the 20th anniversary of Power Rangers SPD. Saturday we're starting Tears of the Kingdom because you got me to 15 likes, and by gosh darn it, we're gonna do it. Yep, and then the comic books are coming well. Just waiting on some things. Going to be putting in the card order tomorrow. That's the last thing I'll need to order. So you guys should, people who ordered your books, Caster, should have it by
Yay!
the end of the month, and probably beginning of March. And we have the return of the Knicks.
Oh my god, I can hear things again.
Yeah,
Yay.
yeah, you had like a really large kind of background kind of noise thing in. So what you want to say?
I have no idea. Something's been going on with my headphones, and I don't know what's been said or anything, really.
Yeah, we kind of started wrapping up. But yeah,
Okay,
we'll
give me
see.
1 second. There's like... Oh, I guess it's not there anymore. But I noticed on Twitch there's like a bot, and now there
Uh,
isn't.
Yay!
I banned one earlier.
Ah,
See,
well,
Nyx uses her powers for good, but don't you dare piss her off.
Mm.
So Nyx, what you got going on?
well, I was probably gonna stream tomorrow some Honey Pop.
Ooh, cool.
I'm trying to stream it and the sequel as much as possible, leading up to, and hopefully streaming on Valentine's Day.
Ooh.
Okay.
What day does Valentine's Day fall on? Oh, it's the 14th. Oh God.
On
I gotta have
Friday.
it.
As it is every year.
Yeah. Oh God. Now I gotta come up with like a Valentine's Day themed episode for the frenzy. God, I gotta figure something out. Oh
It's
God.
also my grandfather's birthday.
Oh really?
Yeah.
He was born of love. All right. So I'm happy to say, next week's episode is gonna be a really good one. We're gonna be paying tribute to Master Chief, and we're talking about Halo.
Woo!
Why it has persisted. Jared will be a guest on the stream next week because he's a huge Halo fan, and there's no way I'd do it without bringing him in. We need him to school us on all the facts. Nyx, you're welcome to be there if you want to. You're a frequent guest. You're not required to be here every week, but I'm always happy to have you. Yeah. Thank you everyone for joining, and remember, I can only show you the door. You're the ones to walk through it.